It began on a Monday. The kind of LA morning that made the city seem like a postcard. Clear skies, soft breeze, the smell of money in the air. Jada Pinkett Smith, sipping her turmeric latte beside the infinity pool of their Calabasas estate, was scrolling through her messages when a discreet knock sounded at the gate. "Private delivery," said the voice through the intercom. Unbothered, Jada waved at the screen, instructing security to let the courier in. Minutes later, a man in a dark suit handed her a manila envelope with no return address, only her full name printed neatly in black ink. No company logos, no sender. Just her name. She wasn't ready. Inside the envelope was a small flash drive and a single sheet of paper. Printed on it were 3 words. "Watch, then decide." Jada raised an eyebrow. Will, at that moment, was at a production meeting in Santa Monica, or so he'd claimed. Still curious, she plugged the drive into her laptop. The screen came alive with grainy footage, clearly taken on a phone from behind a tinted car window. The first clip showed Will in Beverly Hills stepping out of a restaurant with a woman half his age. Not unusual, he often had meetings. But this wasn't business. Jada leaned closer as the next video rolled. The woman, tall, with caramel skin and long jet black hair, was seen climbing into Will's car. He placed a hand on her waist, lingering too long. Then the final clip, a private beach in Malibu. Will. The woman. A kiss. Not a friendly one. Not even a fling-level kiss. This was passion. Long, slow, and practiced. Jada dropped the latte. Her hand trembled as she opened her contacts and dialed. Not Will. Not her assistant. Her lawyer. The Smiths had long been the subject of Hollywood whispers, open relationship rumors, strange red table talks, that infamous Oscar slap. But this was different. This was betrayal wrapped in deceit and smuggled behind smiles on red carpets. By the next morning, TMZ had nothing. No leaks, no stories. Jada was surgical in her silence. She played the role of wife, mother, and media mogul without a crack. But in the background, her legal team was assembling an arsenal. Not just for divorce. No, she wasn't walking away empty-handed. She was suing. For emotional damage. For fraud. For breach of their marital agreement. And most shockingly, for misappropriation of family trust funds allegedly used to support the secret mistress. Will, blindsided, returned home to find their estate unusually quiet. The kids were visiting friends. Jada wasn't in the kitchen, or the gym, or the garden. She was in her study, waiting. "Jada, hey," he smiled. "What's going on?" She slid the envelope across the table. "You tell me." He opened it. As he watched the videos, his face changed from casual to frozen. "I can explain," he said, weakly. Jada smiled a smile that could kill. "Oh, I know you can. But I'm done listening. Let the courts decide." Behind the scenes, what no one knew yet, not even Will, was that Jada had already hired a private investigator. The same man who tracked down the flash drive had uncovered more than footage. He had names, credit card statements, hotel bookings, gifts, a secret Venmo account under an alias, and a rumor, a dark one. The woman in the videos wasn't just a mistress. She was an aspiring actress, and she had been cast quietly, discreetly, in a new streaming series being executive produced by Will himself. Was this just cheating, or was it career manipulation? By Wednesday, the world would know. Jada's legal team planned a controlled leak. Page 6, Variety, Rolling Stone. The media would eat it up. But the biggest twist was still days away. Because the mistress? She had a secret of her own. And she wasn't the only one. 2 days after Jada's legal team initiated the bombshell lawsuit, the first crack appeared in Will Smith's carefully managed public image. It didn't come from a reporter or even Jada's red table. It came from the mistress herself. Her name was Alana Cruz, a 27-year-old aspiring actress from Miami who had moved to Los Angeles only 2 years earlier. She'd done some modeling, a few music videos, even had a blink and you miss it role in a CW pilot. But it wasn't until she met Will that her life changed. According to sources close to her inner circle, Will met Alana at a private networking dinner hosted by a mutual industry friend. At the time, he introduced himself as a mentor looking to support fresh voices in Hollywood. What followed was, in her words, a whirlwind. But now, she was ready to talk. Or rather, her lawyer was. On Thursday afternoon, a press release landed in the inboxes of every entertainment editor in Los Angeles. Ms. Cruz wishes to clarify her relationship with Mr. Smith, asserting that it was built on mutual understanding, promises of professional advancement, and emotional commitment. She maintains that she was unaware of any violations of marital or legal boundaries. A meeting was called at a low-key hotel off Sunset Boulevard, behind layers of non-disclosure agreements and private security. And that's where Radar Online caught the photo. Alana stepping into the hotel, dressed simply in jeans and a white blouse, but the look in her eyes said everything. She wasn't hiding anymore. The bombshell interview. Inside a private suite, Alana sat across from a seasoned Hollywood journalist who had been given exclusive access. What she revealed was shocking, even by LA standards. "I didn't even know he was still married," Alana said, voice shaking. "He said they had an understanding, that they lived separate lives. I believed him." She described secret Malibu weekends, private flights to Nevada, a vacation in the Bahamas that was disguised as a scouting trip. "Will paid for everything, always in cash or via third-party shell companies." Alana also revealed that Will had promised her a lead role in a new limited series for a major streaming platform, one which had already begun pre-production. She had signed a provisional contract, non-union, but it wasn't the role she was promised. According to Alana, the contract stated she would be paid at the discretion of executive producers and could be removed without cause or compensation. "I thought I was in love," she said, tearing up, "but now I see I was just a puppet." Then came the question everyone had been waiting for. Did she know about Jada's lawsuit? "Yes," she whispered. "I got served, too." Fallout at the studio. As the media exploded with Alana's interview, Hollywood's machine went into panic mode. The streaming giant behind the series, rumored to be Netflix, released a brief statement. "We are aware of the developing situation and are reviewing all aspects of the production. At this time, we have no further comment." Behind the scenes, execs were furious. The show, tentatively titled Echoes of Power, had been positioned as Will's big return to serious drama. It was already in development hell due to budget constraints, and now this scandal could sink it completely. One insider texted Deadline. He used company funds to set up meetings with her. He billed her flights as talent acquisition trips. "There's gonna be an investigation. Fast." Jaden and Willow break their silence. The story took another turn when Will and Jada's children, Jaden and Willow, began posting cryptic messages to their social media. Jaden tweeted, "People think they know. They don't." Willow posted a story on Instagram, an old photo of her and her mother, captioned simply, "Queen energy only." Neither mentioned Will by name, but the tone was clear. The Smith family was splitting down the middle. Sources close to Jaden claim he's furious with his father, not just over the scandal, but over what he perceives as a betrayal of the family brand they worked so hard to protect. Willow, meanwhile, has reportedly moved in with her mother. Another woman? Just when things couldn't get worse, a second woman surfaced. A dancer from Toronto who claimed to have had a brief but intense relationship with Will during a promotional tour the previous year. "I didn't even know who he was at first," she told Star magazine. "But he was charming. Smart. He said he was divorced. I believed him." She provided screenshots of messages, plane tickets, and even a blurry selfie taken inside what she claimed was Will's trailer. The dancer didn't want money. She didn't want fame. "I just want people to know he's been doing this for a long time." Will retreats. By Friday night, Will Smith had gone radio silent. No interviews. No appearances. His publicist issued a bland statement. Mr. Smith is taking time to focus on his family and personal well-being. He asks for privacy as the situation unfolds. But the damage was done. The lawsuit was gaining traction, Alana was giving interviews, and now a second woman had entered the mix. Hollywood, once enchanted by the charming, goofball prince from West Philadelphia, was beginning to turn. And Jada? She had only just begun. It wasn't until the weekend that things took a legal turn. While gossip outlets obsessed over Alana Cruz's exclusive interview and the mystery Canadian dancer, Jada's legal team was quietly preparing a blow that no one in Will's camp expected, a hidden contract. Buried deep in a safe located in the Smiths' Aspen vacation home, Jada's longtime business manager had discovered a document drafted 7 years ago, a postnuptial agreement. It had never been publicized, and even close family friends weren't aware of its existence. It was signed during what the couple then called a rough patch, a time when Jada had allegedly discovered early signs of Will's emotional distancing and his private lifestyle. The document was chilling in its precision. Any undisclosed extramarital romantic entanglements that involve financial transactions, gifts, or career advancement, especially involving professional collaborators, shall be considered a breach of good faith marital conduct, with the injured party entitled to pursue full legal and fiduciary remedy. Translation: if Will used any shared funds to support a mistress or further her career, Jada could sue him for breach of contract and walk away with up to 60% of their joint estate. The lawyers go to war. Will's legal team, in full damage control mode, attempted to dismiss the contract as non-binding, claiming it was never notarized or filed with their primary estate documents. But Jada's side had proof of email exchanges, timestamps, and even a video recording of the signing back when the couple still believed in documenting their journey. The video showed Will smiling nervously beside Jada, pen in hand. "This is just in case I mess up," he joked. Now, that joke could cost him over $175 million. Jada's lawyers immediately updated the lawsuit to include the hidden agreement as a central exhibit. They also filed a temporary injunction to freeze select Smith family assets, alleging that Will had already begun liquidating investment accounts tied to production companies that might have funded Alana Cruz's acting deal. Hollywood turns cold. Calls stopped coming. Executives distanced themselves. Sponsors pulled back. Within 72 hours, Will had been quietly dropped from 2 major projects. A long-rumored sci-fi epic at Paramount, an unannounced sequel to I Am Legend that was supposed to feature Michael B. Jordan. Even Bad Boys 4, which had completed principal photography, was suddenly facing release reevaluation. A Netflix executive, speaking anonymously, told Deadline, "Studios can deal with scandal. What they can't deal with is unpredictability. Will Smith is no longer a safe bet. Alana disappears." As pressure mounted, Alana Cruz vanished. Her social media accounts went dark. Her lawyer stopped responding to requests. Paparazzi stationed outside her West Hollywood apartment reported that she hadn't returned home in days. TMZ speculated that she had been sent to a crisis rehab facility to avoid public collapse. But others believed something more dramatic. Will had paid her off. An unconfirmed tip to Page 6 claimed that Alana had received a 7-figure settlement in exchange for dropping all claims, deleting all interviews, and signing a non-disclosure agreement. There were no bank records, of course, but a neighbor said they saw Alana leaving in a black SUV with tinted windows, looking calm and oddly satisfied. Jada was furious. Her team filed a motion requesting full financial discovery of Will's recent account activity. If money had changed hands, it could constitute tampering with a witness, which, while not criminal in this case, would significantly strengthen Jada's position in court. The red table returns. And then, just when the internet was catching its breath, Jada brought back the red table. Live on Facebook, unannounced, unsponsored, and unfiltered, she sat alone. No Willow. No guests. No preamble. Just her and the truth. "A lot of people have been asking what I'll do now," she said, staring directly into the camera. "I built a family. I built an empire. And I won't let lies break that down. Not without a fight." She paused. There are stories about love and partnership that are sacred. But there are also contracts. Agreements. Promises. When those get broken, when someone takes advantage of your silence, there has to be accountability. It wasn't anger in her voice. It was something colder. Resolve. Will's final move. On Sunday night, Will made a quiet move. He flew privately to Bahrain, citing a spiritual retreat. His publicist denied that he was fleeing the country or avoiding depositions. But court documents showed he had filed a motion to mediate, requesting a private settlement away from the media. Too late. The press was too deep. The money too large. The betrayal too public. And in a twist no one saw coming, one more player entered the game. Someone from inside Will's own production company. Someone with proof. Just when it seemed like Will Smith had successfully vanished into a luxury desert compound in Bahrain, Hollywood's biggest scandal took its sharpest and most damning turn. An anonymous email was sent to 3 major entertainment newsrooms, The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and TMZ, with a single subject line. Project Orion. Listen before you bury the truth. Attached were 10 voice recordings, 2 internal memos, and an encrypted link to a cloud drive titled WS Productions, Private Correspondence. The sender? Listed only as Orion Leak 23. By 10 a.m., Variety had verified the source, an assistant producer at Will's own production company, Westbrook Studios, an underpaid staffer who had quietly downloaded every internal file connected to Alana Cruz's involvement in Echoes of Power, the streaming series at the center of the affair. And what those files revealed wasn't just scandalous. It was explosive. The voice recordings. In one audio file, Will's voice could be heard clearly. Alana's not just a fling, all right? She's got range. She's raw. She reminds me of young Jada, before everything. Another, more damning. I'll get her in through the side. The studio doesn't have to know who she is to me. She signs the paperwork through the dummy LLC, and we keep her on non-union until we lock picture. After that, she's safe. It wasn't just a personal affair anymore. Will had allegedly orchestrated an entire shadow hiring scheme to funnel Alana into the industry using production funds, while shielding the studio from knowing she was romantically involved with him. But the worst was yet to come. The memo. One internal memo from an executive producer raised direct concerns about Alana. We've received word from crew that Will has been bringing an unlisted actress on set. There's confusion over her role. She's not in casting files. She appears to have security access, despite no documentation. It was dated 4 months before the lawsuit. No one responded to it. No action was taken. Until now. Jada's team pounces. The leak was a gift from heaven, or hell, if you were on Will's side. Jada's legal team immediately subpoenaed the files, issuing a motion to depose all Westbrook staff involved in hiring decisions. The insider whistleblower agreed to testify under anonymity in exchange for legal protection. Jada's lead attorney, in a fiery press conference, said, "We now have evidence that Mr. Smith not only violated the terms of his postnuptial agreement, but manipulated a corporate infrastructure to do so. This is no longer just a domestic betrayal. It is systemic abuse of power." Industry reactions. Hollywood had been hesitant to react, unsure of who might come out on top. But now, agents began dropping Will. A-list collaborators ghosted him. Apple TV quietly paused post-production on a documentary he'd been narrating. Most devastating of all, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences released a statement. Given the revelations of impropriety involving production conduct, the Academy is reviewing Mr. Smith's status as a voting member. This came just a year after his reinstatement following the 2022 Oscars incident. The irony was not lost on anyone. The kids take sides. Jaden Smith, once silent, posted a rare Instagram live. "I'm not gonna lie, this whole thing messed me up. I love both my parents. But hiding things, hurting people in the dark, that's not how I was raised." He then went offline. Willow, on the other hand, posted a poem to her stories. "Silence is betrayal wearing your last name / but truth is thunder you can't run from." She tagged Jada. The Smith household was no longer a house. It was a battlefield. A secret apartment in New York. Meanwhile, tabloids uncovered another bombshell. Will had allegedly maintained a secret apartment in Tribeca, registered under the name of his personal trainer. Neighbors claimed they'd seen multiple young women entering and leaving the building at all hours, including someone who looked a lot like that girl from the Bahamas pictures. The lease, paid in full for 2 years, was linked to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Alana? Silent. Her lawyer? No comment. But the story now had legs longer than a Netflix renewal. Jada goes public. Again, in a follow-up Red Table episode, Jada sat down with her mother, Adrienne Banfield Norris, and spoke candidly. "It's not just about infidelity. It's about deception. About being told that my instincts were wrong. About watching a man I once loved build an empire while gaslighting me into silence." She held up the contract, the postnup, on camera. "This is the paper he signed. But this is what he broke." She placed her hand over her heart. "I'm not angry anymore. I'm ready." Ready for what? The trial. The day had finally come. On a gray Monday morning in downtown Los Angeles, Superior Court of California, Department 47, was surrounded by reporters, camera crews, and hundreds of curious onlookers. Metal barricades lined the sidewalks. LAPD managed crowd control. Fans waved signs that read, "Justice for Jada," while others shouted, "Let Will speak." Inside the marble halls of justice, Hollywood's most public marriage was about to face its most private reckoning. Will Smith versus Jada Pinkett Smith had become the trial of the decade. Opening arguments. Jada's attorney opened first. Poised, crisp, and brutal. "This is not a divorce trial. This is a case of contractual betrayal. A man, aware of the terms of his marriage, knowingly concealed a romantic affair, financed it with shared assets, used corporate influence to benefit the partner, and attempted to suppress the truth. We're not asking for sympathy. We're asking for accountability. Will's side countered with a more emotional defense. Yes, mistakes were made. Yes, lines were crossed. But these were human choices, not criminal conspiracies. And we contest the enforceability of the postnuptial agreement. We will show that it was drafted under emotional duress, without independent counsel, and never ratified by a court. But behind the polished statements, everyone knew the war would be won by evidence. The whistleblower testifies. Under anonymity, the assistant producer, referred to in court as witness A-19, testified in chilling detail. She described how she was instructed to fast-track Alana's paperwork through a shell LLC, how she was told not to speak to HR, and how she overheard Will say, "If Jada ever finds out, I want deniability across the board." The courtroom was silent. Jada didn't blink. Will's jaw tensed, but he said nothing. Then came the bombshell, a handwritten note, retrieved from a recycled script binder in the Westbrook offices. It read, "Alana, stay off socials. Lawyers are circling. If you go public, I can't protect you anymore. Just lay low, and I'll fix this. W." Handwriting experts confirmed it matched Will's previous signatures. The judge allowed it. Alana's video deposition. Though Alana Cruz never appeared in person, the court played a sealed video deposition she'd recorded from an undisclosed location. In the footage, she looked exhausted, but calm. "I was in love with him. I thought it was real. He told me he and Jada had an understanding. That she wouldn't care. That it wasn't cheating if it was private. I didn't know about the contract. I didn't know I'd be the thing that broke everything." Then, with eyes brimming with tears, "He told me I reminded him of her. I think that's why he picked me." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. The financial breakdown. Forensic accountants broke it down in detail. Over $4.3 million in production budget reallocations tied to Alana's travel, coaching, wardrobe, and lodging. A $2 million lease on the secret Tribeca apartment. Several shell accounts linked to consulting fees that traced back to Alana's manager, who turned state witness. Jada's lawyer smiled. Will's team scrambled. The judge, unmoved, requested closing arguments by the following Monday. The verdict. Exactly 3 weeks after the trial began, the decision came down. The judge ruled in Jada's favor on 4 of 5 key counts. Wide heavy checkmark breach of postnuptial agreement. Wide heavy checkmark misappropriation of joint assets. Wide heavy checkmark corporate misconduct through proxy hiring. Wide heavy checkmark intentional concealment of romantic entanglement. The only thing Will avoided? Punitive damages, the judge citing lack of criminal malice. But it didn't matter. The ruling awarded Jada $128 million, full ownership of 2 shared production properties, and 65% of residuals from past joint ventures. More than the money, though, she won her narrative back. The aftermath. Will Smith disappeared. Rumors placed him in South Africa, attending a month-long silent retreat. His Instagram went black. He was dropped by his agency. Publicists declined all comment. One anonymous studio exec told Variety, "He's not canceled, but he's not coming back this year. Maybe not next." Jada, meanwhile, announced the launch of her own production label, Pink Table Films. Its first project? A limited series called The Contract. Fictional, of course, but everyone knew the truth beneath the scripts. Alana Cruz was last spotted in Lisbon, Portugal, working as a creative consultant for a small indie director. She has not spoken publicly since the trial. The Red Table now streamed weekly to over 20 million subscribers. Epilogue. A final statement. Months later, Jada released one final message. No background music. No audience. Just her voice. "Marriage is sacred. So is truth. I didn't ask for this war, but I didn't run from it either. I loved a man who stopped telling the truth. But I never stopped telling mine. And that's how I survived." She smiled softly. And if you're watching this, so can you. Fade to black.